channel. I'm excited to share my Beach Tote Memory Dex Cards for ASC Craft Supplies. They have 2 web stores, and I will leave a link to both of those as well, including the Facebook group. And remember, any purchase that you make, if you use my coupon code Michelle10, you will receive 10% off your order. And as always, if you spend $75 or more, you will receive free shipping. So I had saw these Beach Totes a while back, or the Beach Tote Memory Dex Cards a while back on Instagram, and I am not sure if it was Adriana Alvarez who did this first. I cannot remember, so I do apologize. And if you know who created these and you want to leave it in the comment, I will make sure to link their Instagram account in the description box. I just cannot remember. I did use Kristianne's Crafty Adventures purse tote tutorial, and then attached it to my Memory Dex base. So I used the papers, Suntastic, and the other one is Better Times. So these are the papers that I used. I was able to utilize my 6x6 paper pads, which is great. And the Better Times one, I decided to use this fun striped, and I think it came out so cute. And I have this yellow textured cardstock in my stash, and I thought it went perfectly with it. And so we'll just turn it around. And I used the little frame and a little cut apart from the 6x6 paper pad to create this shaker. And how I got these small ephemera pieces back here, I scanned the 12x12 cut aparts and then imported them into Silhouette Cameo program, and I had it cut out all of these. So I did a print and cut and was able to reduce them for my project, and I love how they came out, and I didn't have to fussy cut them, so it was great. I used this little scalloped circle and little scalloped frame from the Silhouette Design Store. I have some pink rosettes that I've just created out of crepe paper and put in the little tote. It holds 6 perfectly, and I do not have these decorated, and I thought it would be nice just to let the recipient decorate them. So I love the scene as well, and I love it came with a lot of little butterflies and little milkshakes and these gorgeous flowers. So I was really happy with how that came out, and we'll do a little shake so you can see. So absolutely love how that one came out. And here's one that's a little more, you know, shabby without lace, I guess. So I've got some flowers tucked in there, and I used some Heartfelt Creation stamen that I tucked in. These are the glittered ones, and I absolutely love. They matched perfectly. And then this little swirl, I think I did cut from my Cricut Design Space, and I just added some gold along the edges. I love how that came out. I guess I should say a rose gold. Oops, a little blue string. And then I did cover the base with some decorative paper, since I didn't have anything that cardstock that matched that like I wanted it to. We'll just spin it around. I carried the rose gold all the way around, and on the inside I did tuck some white rosettes, and here I put a little bow, and I used my Zitter Bow It All, and I do have a tutorial for that, so I will link it in the description box as well. I do have a tutorial on how I created my Beach Tote Memory Dex card, so stay tuned, and remember to check out ASC Craft Supplies, and for 10% off, use my coupon code Michelle10. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye. So the pieces that we will need to make our Beach Tote Memory Dex card are 2 pieces of decorative. I picked this yellow I thought it accented my stripes that I'm going to put on my purse really well. And it is a 1/4 inch by 6. You need 2 of those. 2 of the 3/8 inch by 6 inch decorative for the handles. And these are the bottom that wraps around the bottom of the tote. And they are a 1/2 inch by 6, 2 of those. You will need 2 pieces to form the walls inside of the bag, and one is 2 3/4 inches tall by 6 inches wide, and then this one is 2 3/4 inches tall by 5 1/4 wide. And the reason I did that is so on the sides of the purse they meet right there, and I just like that. I think it's a more finished look, so I just chose to cut one piece smaller. So those form the outside of the bag. And then the bottom of the bag is this piece that is 2 inches tall by 5 inches wide, and I scored at a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. So it's just like making the bottom of a box, and that'll be the bottom of the tote. And 2 Memory Dex cards. Mine, I think their measurements for these, for a Memory Dex card, is 4 inches wide by 2 and, can't remember the height of them, 2 5/8. We are going to be trimming these down and scoring them. We're going to make like a little platform for the purse to sit on, or the tote. So I'm just going to scoot these over. I will bring in my paper trimmer. And so what I'm going to do, this is an old Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and it cuts and scores. So I'm going to score at, from the bottom of the Memory Dex card, I'm going to score up 3/4 inch. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to cut my piece at 1 1/4 inches. Just making sure it's lined up perfectly, and cut. So it's 1 1/4 inches tall now, and I scored from the bottom of the card at 3/4 inch. Okay, and we'll go ahead and do the other one. So I'm scoring at 3/4 inch, just making sure it's lined up. And we'll go over to 1 1/4 and cut. So these are our 2 base pieces. And since I have this thick, since this is thick decorative paper, I'm not going to cover this base with decorative paper. In this one, I did cover the base with decorative paper because I didn't have anything that really matched the purse, so I covered it with the decorative paper. You can see in there it was a light blue, but I did cover it since it didn't really match. But this one, since I had this textured cardstock that's heavy, I'm not going to cover the base. So if you're going to cover the base, you would just pick your decorative pieces and cut them the same way and lay it over top. And I'll tell you when you would do that. So let's put our base together and get the, and we're just going to glue up to the score line. That looks good. I'm not going to burnish it too hard. I don't want to lose the texture. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but there's some texture. I just really like that. So then we'll fold these over. Make sure they're level. And they are. And just rub that still in right there to get it to match up. And burnish really well without losing my texture. So that gives us a little platform to sit our purse on, or our tote. So now I'm just going to lay this piece to the side. I'm going to bring in the bottom of the tote. It's the 2 by 5 inch piece that's been scored at a 1/2 inch on all 4 sides. And I'm just going to cut on the score line up to the score line it intersects, and then just take a little notch out like so. So when we fold it in, it will lay nicely. And I'm just going to do that to the other 4 corners, making sure to cut on the score line. And then I'm just trimming, you know, a tiny little bit out. So, okay, there we go. And now I'm going to fold these on the score lines, like so. And then we're just going to put glue on all 4, put glue on all 4 of the tabs, and we're just going to fold them in like so. So now we will wrap our base with the sides of the purse. And whoops. So I'm going to what I did was on the 2 3/4 by 6-inch piece, I have 1/8-inch score tape on the front sides, and then when you flip it over, I have a piece of 3/8-inch score tape along the bottom. And the reason this is on the front is when we wrap the front piece of the purse, it's going to lay over that. So we need it on the front. And let's take off our bottom piece of score tape. And I'm just going to eyeball this. And I'm going to use my grid here that is on my mat. And that looks pretty good. Make sure I get it along the bottom. Whoops. Pull it a little bit closer so I can see. And that looks pretty good right there. So I'm just going to rub the inside there. And now let's just gradually wrap that around the side, like so. And then just wrap this one around. Okay, and that looks really good. And I'm really close on this side, but it's okay. But if you would be doing this and you would come past here, you could just trim that side piece off, because when we put the front piece on, it will cover that up. So if you have a little boo-boo, it's okay. And now for the front piece, let's go ahead and take off. Oh, I forgot to tell you where the score tape was. For the front piece of the purse, the score tape is 3/8 inch along the bottom, and I use the 1/8 inch along the side. So this time you put everything on the inside of the purse, because when we turn it around, it will be going over top of the back piece. So I'm just going to take off the bottom piece right now. And this is the one I really want to get close to being centered. So I'm going to use the stripes this time. I kind of should have done that for the back piece. And now I'm going to come to this side, and I'm going to take off the score tape and this piece right here. And I'm gradually just going to wrap this purse, or this piece, along the bottom, and then just up the sides. Do the same thing here. Take the score tape off the sides, and just gradually fold this over, making sure it's even on the bottom. Okay, and that looks really good. And right here, it's sticking up past it just a little bit, and that's okay. You just trim that off. And I think there's just a tiny little piece on this side, so I'll just trim that off. Sometimes that happens, but it doesn't affect the look of your purse, and I love this stripe. I think it looks so good. So now I want to come in, and I want to glue this to the bottom. So we're going to set the purse on top of the platform. Make sure I get glue all the way to the edge. Okay, just go like this. Just want to rub it, make sure it gets a good seal. And it feels like there's just a little bit sticking out past, and I'm just going to take my scissors and trim that off, just so when I wrap the decorative pieces, it lays really nice. Okay, like so. Okay, so now we're ready to add the decorative pieces. It's a really quick project. So let's take the bottom two that are 2.5, and I want, see, when I look at the front of this, you can't see my edge. So I want to start with the back and wrap the back first. So then when I put the front piece on, it'll be a nice, you won't see where they've met. The edges have met. So I'm just going to put glue along this. And I'm going to just line it up along the bottom. Let me scoot it over some so it's even. Whoops. Okay. Just lining that up along the bottom. I want to cover that edge where we joined the tote to the base. And I'm just wrapping this around. And then it gives it a nice finished edge. Okay, that. Okay, that looks good. And we will do the front. And see where we're wrapping these end pieces to the back, you don't see where they meet, where they are a little bit taller. And I'm laying this along the bottom to cover up that seam. And let me scoot this over just a little bit. Lining it up with the sides as well. Okay. So there's the bottom. It looks really good. Pull that down just a little bit. And now we will do the top. And once again, I'm starting with the back. Then all my seams, you know, where they meet will be towards the back. Okay, and just line this up. Want it to meet with the top, flush with the top. Just wrap this one around. Like so. Okay, that looks good. And we will do the same for the front. And the top pieces are the 1/4 inch by 6 inch pieces. So, just line it up with the top and wrapping it around. I'm loving the stripe. And now we will, okay. Oh, I forgot to use the bone folder on those to curve them. So, just round those. Okay, and I'm going to put glue about 3/4 of an inch on the bottom, and you're going to want to put your adhesive on the front of the handle if that's the side you want to show. So I'm going to come in, just going to kind of look at it and see where I want it. With the stripes, I can use it as a guide. So I think I want them there. Let's see, there we go. I'm wanting to turn. Let me. Okay. I just want to hold them to keep them straight on the inside here. That one's wanting to turn a little. Oops. Hold it loose. Just going to hold those. Okay, that looks really good. Loving that. And we'll do the same to the other side. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue. We'll just kind of line it up with the front handle. And I'm going to hold it there. That looks really good. So this is our completed Beach Tote Memory Dex card. I hope you like it. Make sure to share with me if you create them and tag me on Instagram. So thanks for watching and have a great day.